Hello guys. So today we are going to study one topic called economics and design. Only three topics are left over, and today we'll be discussing economics and design. First of all, what do you understand by economics? Look, economics is all about making choices actually. So we make all kinds of choices every single day. I mean, in our routine day. Namely, like which particular movie we have to go, or else which particular route today I have to take it to our engineering college, or else where can I celebrate my birthday party, or else which particular job after my engineering degree. So life is full of choices, and economics also deals with those kind of choices. How to deal with these kind of choices? Some people may be tempted that economics often deals only with money. But to be very honest, economics not only deals with money. I am not saying that economics does not deal with money. What I am trying to say is economics not only deals with money, but also it actually gives you some options. It gives you some choices or else alternative solutions to pick with. And of course, most of our the choices that comes in your life, that will depend upon some money, right? That's why I told, like, economics is not about just dealing with the money, but the decisions that we have to make while actually while we are facing our real life. So basically, in this particular module, that is, in this particular topic, we are discussing about design and engineering, right? So here, economics is all about these topics actually. ഇത് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ചാണ് ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. The things what we are going to discuss under this topic will be time value of the money, importance of interest or inflation down the time, and then cash flow comparisons, and then the project and as well as the investment analysis, and making a good economic decisions. As you see, it's all about making the decisions, but most of the decisions are involved with some amount of money, right? Yeah, right. So this is how it is. So let us check it out. Look, you are having a startup company, and you'll be having these kind of questions in front of you to answer with, right? So whether I'll be buying the land where I have to actually construct my manufacturing plant, or else whether I have to lease a already actually built plant or something like that, and then whether I have to buy a car or else a land for the particular investment, whether I have to buy a bond, stock, keep money, or keep money hiding in the bed, actually what kind of investment we are going to make. So these are the questions that generally one will face before starting a company. Look, one should be aware about this one, cash flow comparisons actually. Look, as I said, in case if we have been left with this kind of two choices, one is to spend $18,000 just now. Say for example, you are buying a car for the company, or also buying a device for the company. You can imagine your own example. What if I have an option like spending $600 per month for 3 years? Of course, you will be forced to spend somewhat actually bigger amount, somewhat bloated amount when compared to this one. But which one is better on the on the long run? So these kind of the questions one will face naturally. So basically the question is this one: how much is the money, say for example 2021, will be compared to the money, the same amount of money that in the future actually, right? So ഇപ്പോൾ ഉള്ള വാല്യൂ, മണീൻ്റെ വാല്യൂ മേ ബി ലൈക്ക് ഒരു 5 ഇയേഴ്സിൻ്റെ അപ്പുറത്ത്, 3 ഇയേഴ്സ് അല്ല ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ കോട്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ 3 ഇയേഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് സെയിം എമൗണ്ട് ഓഫ് മണി, വാട്ട് വിൽ ബി ദ വർത്ത് ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്, വാട്ട് വിൽ ബി ദ വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ ഈ കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ക്യാഷ് ഫ്ലോ കമ്പാരിഷൻസ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയണം. ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ? So you have two choices to make here. Another interesting example: you are in construction with a distributor or else a dealer, and one guy is talking about providing you for the actually regarding the purchase of any products from your company. Say for example, he's ready to pay a $100 bill today itself. At the same time, another distributor or a dealer guy who is interested in providing you the $100 a year from now. That means 1 year afterwards. So which will you prefer? So very sure we will be providing, I mean, we will be opting for this particular solution, right? Like $100 today thing. So that's why I told you the value of money based on the flow of the time, right? Based on the flow of the time, and this we have to understand. And as I have pointed out in the previous slide, most people will prefer to have the money sooner, right? So even if even you try to make this $1.20 like a year from now, again it will be a wise choice for you to prefer this one, a dealer who is ready to offer $100 today itself. The reason is, as I told, down the timeline, the value of the money gets depreciated actually. Value of money. Okay, that's why earlier the better. They call it as earlier the better. So mostly people will opt for this one. The reasons why they opt for the earlier money is because of the security. Maybe the dealer will run away, right? There are so many security options. I mean, issues are there, right? So one should be the security issue. Another one will be the interest issue, interest of the particular money, and another one will be the value of the currency, and the last one is the uncertainty. We cannot we cannot predict the future, right? So these are all the top four reasons that will give you uh, a better understanding about the time value of the money. Based on these four factors, you can go and decide which is better for you. But there is a famous saying, a bird at hand is better than two birds in the bush. And because this example tells you two birds in the bush, as you see, it may be glamorous when compared to one single bird at the hand, but this contains a certain amount of uncertainty, right? Certain amount of actually risk is there. So that's why people prefer for a bird at the hand. So I hope that you have understood the previous slides to understand the basics of the economics. And from now on, we are going to discuss about the engineering economic decisions actually. So these are all the 5 important factors that comes under this particular topic, engineering economic decisions. One is the decision making process, economic decisions. I mean, economically we should be wise. I mean, we should be wise enough to pick the economic decision, most adaptable solution, right? That's the thing. And predict the future, right? Like we should be able to imagine the market. I mean, imagine the tendency of the market for the tomorrow, so that to produce the best solution today, right? And fourth one is the large engineering scale. I mean, large scale engineering projects. This contains a fair amount of risk actually. Large scale engineering projects require large amount of money, so the returns will be very slower in nature. So a fair amount of risk is involved in this. And fifth one is the types of strategic engineering economic decisions one have to deal with. So these are the these are the 5 things that we are going to discuss in this topic, engineering economic decisions. The first important topic is the decision making process, rational decision making process. Look, this particular scheme or else this particular process cannot be taught in a class, or else you cannot read it from a book, and you cannot implement that straight from a book. This is what I'm trying to say, because the situation tend to differ from place to place as well as situation to situation. So you should be wise enough from your exam, I mean, actually from your previous experiences to pick up the best wise, not best actually, wise decision process actually. So first thing is you have to understand the problem which is involved, and you should be precise enough to know your goal or else objective, right? So one thing is the problem on your one hand, another one is the goal on the other hand actually. So the implementation process will certainly contain fair amount of risk. Okay, so that means what? Adinda related, like implementation related, ella karyam, ella informations we should start to collect, and then we have to discuss with some of our senior partners about the actually best alternative solutions that one can make with the given situation, because given situation, as I told earlier, it cannot be taught in a book actually. So every situation in every part of the world will be different actually. So one book, say for example foreign book, like England author ആണ്, ഇംഗ്ലണ്ടിന്റെ author ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അവരുടെ implementation strategy നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കാം, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. പക്ഷേ same thing if you try to implement it here, you may face some trouble actually. So our condition, actually our government strategies, everything is different actually. So we need alternative solutions, but before implementing one particular solution, before picking one particular solution, we need a team of guys so that we evaluate the alternative decisions to pick the best one, right? So select the decision criteria to use. This is also very important thing. Even before making a decision, you should know which particular criterion that I have to use, and that particular criterion should be goal objective. I mean, it should be goal oriented, right? So this is what it is. The engineering economic decision, it starts right from the planning level. ഞാൻ ആൾറെഡി പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, പ്ലാനിങ് എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യണം, അത് എങ്ങനെ ഡ്രാഫ്റ്റ് ആക്കണം, എങ്ങനെ അതിനെ ലൈക്ക് ഒരു ഗോൾ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവായി, ഐ മീൻ ഗോൾ ഓറിയന്റഡ് പ്ലാനിങ് ആയിട്ട് മാറ്റണം. ഇതൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ആൾറെഡി മോഡ്യൂൾ 1 ലും 2 ലും നമ്മൾ എനഫ് amount of discussions we had actually. So if planning, while you are doing the planning itself, we should plan it wisely, plan it based on the economic situations as well as economic these considerations actually. At the time of investments also, we should be goal oriented, goal bounded, and actually the best in previously best solutions economic wise, best solutions നമ്മൾ കണ്ടെത്തണം. ചുമ്മാ വെറുതെ ലൈക്ക് പൈസ വേസ്റ്റ് ആക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. That's what it means. So manufacturing, at the time of manufacturing also, you should be careful enough in picking the devices which you really require. ചുമ്മാ high sophisticated devices സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ്ങിൽ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ വാങ്ങിക്കണമെന്നില്ല. So you have to understand the situation, you have to understand the market demands, and based on the requirement, you have to think about the the manufacturing plant, or else the devices which you are going to procure for the manufacturing plant. So even at the end of the the production, the marketing also, how strategically you have to market, how strategically you have to actually place the marketing style. Say for example സിറ്റിയിലാണ് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ മാർക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വില്ലേജിലാണോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആരാണ് നമ്മളുടെ ടാർഗറ്റ്, ലൈക്ക് ലോ ഇൻകം ആൾക്കാരാണോ, മീഡിയം ഇൻകം ആൾക്കാരാണോ, വലിയ ആൾക്കാർ, ഐ മീൻ ആക്ച്വലി വലിയ മീൻസ് ലൈക്ക് ഇതുകൊണ്ടുള്ള ഹൈ ഇൻകം ആൾക്കാരാണോ, ആരാണ് നമ്മളുടെ സ്ട്രാറ്റജി, ആരാണ് നമ്മളുടെ actually നമ്മളുടെ മാർക്കറ്റ് നമ്മൾ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിരിക്കണം. So based on all these things, actually every nook and corner, the decision should be based on economic conditions of your situation, right? As well as the decision should be goal oriented, right? നമ്മളുടെ goal കളയാൻ പാടില്ല, because finally our objective is to have more profit, right? So as soon as you have a product in your hand, because the previous slide നമ്മൾ കണ്ടായിരുന്നു, like we had a manufacturing scheme of thing, manufacturing system ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ എക്കണോമിക് വൈസ് നമ്മളുടെ ഗോൾ ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ ഈ ഒരു കാര്യം, this particular product, how many years it will sustain in the market, that we have to predict in the future. I mean that we have to predict earlier actually. The future should be predicted earlier. The main reason is, ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ തരാം. കുറച്ച് വർഷം മുന്നേ, ലൈക്ക് ഒരു 4-5 years back, we had a boom of actually 3D TVs, and actually the people thought like next 10 years 3D TV will be the next big thing, and finally what happened, within 1 year the market crashed actually, right? So seems that Sony as well as Samsung has not they have not predicted the future carefully. It seems they have failed in understanding the requirement of the people, it seems. So they failed, right? So നമ്മളുടെ ഇപ്പോൾ ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ 3D illa adinu adutha oru technology undu nu vecho, virtual TV nu vecho. Virtual TV means all the characters that are inside the movie or else inside the program will naturally they will come to life. Actually they will be roaming in our room itself, because it's a that particular environment will be virtual actually, and you will be sucked inside that virtual environment, right? So ഇത് നമ്മൾ ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആയിട്ട് എടുക്കാം. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു ടെക്നോളജി ഇപ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഉണ്ട്. ഐ തിങ്ക് ഷാർപ്പ് കമ്പനീസ്, they have ഷാർപ്പ് companies from Japan, they have invented, it seems. But what is the required amount of the investment that you have to put in before actually producing a product that can be used by the normal people? I mean എത്ര പേര് അത് വാങ്ങാൻ റെഡി ആയിട്ട് ഉണ്ടാവും? അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ നമുക്ക് മുടക്കാൻ കാശ് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് നമ്മളുടെ കയ്യിൽ ഉണ്ടോ? എത്ര എമൗണ്ട് ഓഫ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി പംപ്ഡ് ഇൻസൈഡ്, ആൻഡ് ഹൗ മച്ച് എമൗണ്ട് ഓഫ് റിസ്ക് ഇസ് ഇൻവോൾവ്? അതൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ അറിയാൻ പഠിക്കണം. ലൈക്ക് വി ഷുഡ് അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ദോസ് തിങ്സ്. ആൻഡ് ആൾസോ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഡിമാൻഡ് ഉണ്ടാവോ? ഫോർകാസ്റ്റിംഗ് ദ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഡിമാൻഡ് ഉണ്ടാവോ? ആൻഡ് ദെൻ സെല്ലിംഗ് പ്രൈസ് ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പോയിന്റ് ആണ്. Say for example, I am giving you a LED TV for 10,000 rupees right now. Even smart TVs and all, it's available for 15,000. Now you cannot tell like I am giving you a virtual TV and the price of this one is 2 lakhs. Who will purchase? What is the the creamy layer people only will be purchasing, right? So these aspects are very, very important aspects actually. So we should put a bracket on the manufacturing cost, and also we should be able to predict the life of your producer product, right? So these are the things that one should evaluate carefully to understand the future of your market, right? And as I have mentioned earlier, a large scale project, say for example you are trying to produce a very big, you are having an ambitious idea and you are trying to produce a very actually large scale some devices in very large scale. This means you have to pump in huge amount of money, and in case if you have not understood the future, in case if you have not rightly predicted the requirement from the people, then you are most probably you will be losing the value, or else most probably you will be losing your market in the future, right? So, and one more important thing what we have to understand is like it takes a huge amount of time for it to recover back the money, as I have mentioned earlier, right? So these are the things one should understand before implementing a large scale engineering project. So the types of the strategic engineering economic decisions are these 5 things. One is the equipment and process selection, equipment replacement. I already പറഞ്ഞു like which particular equipment befits my situation, which particular equipment I really require in my manufacturing plant, whether I am going for highly sophisticated equipment or else like a modern yet cost effective equipment, whether that is sufficient, or else I am going for a higher end equipment. അതൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് അത് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ we have to be very careful in that particular venture, right? And then in case if you try to replace an equipment, what kind of equipment I have to go with, right? Whether I am going to consider to produce a new product in between, right? Whether I am going to expand my say for example initially my target is like 50,000 units per year, and suddenly like നമ്മൾ ഒരു സ്ട്രാറ്റജി എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട് like 50,000 അല്ല 75,000 നമ്മൾ പോവാം. ഇതൊക്കെ സ്ട്രാറ്റജിക്കൽ ഡിസിഷൻസ് ആണ്. Okay അല്ലേ? So finally like say for example 6 months 7 months കഴിയുമ്പോൾ like നമുക്ക് in case if you are not properly recovering back the pumped in money, then we may have to think about cost reduction, and in long run very sure we have to think about the service improvements also, right? So equipment and process selection, for example കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, വേറെ ഒന്നല്ല. How do you choose between plastic shield molding compound or else glass or else steel sheet stock for the auto body panel? Or example they have discussed. So the choice of material will dictate the manufacturing process for that particular company, as well as it will determine the amount of cost amount of the cost of the particular product, right? So this is a pictorial representation actually. The Dow, a very famous Dow chemical company, അവരുടെ ഒരു ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ലേ ഔട്ടാണ്. ഒരു റോൾ, ഐ മീൻ സ്റ്റീൽ ഷീറ്റാണോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആപ്സസ് ഷീറ്റാണോ, നമ്മൾ പ്രീവിയസ്ലി നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്താൽ നമ്മൾ ഇത് കണ്ടോ, 2 types of things actually, plastic SMC or else steel sheet. So ഇതിൻ്റെ മെറ്റീരിയൽ കാസ്റ്റ് എത്രയാണ്? ഒരു kg $1.65. At the same time, if you are going for steel sheet stock, this is the amount of the material, this is the amount which you may have to lose from your packet in the form of material cost. Machine investment, at the same time, machine investment for dealing this plastic SMC, okay, this particular product is $2.1 million. Here it's very, very high. But at the same time, the investment in the tool is only $0.683 million when you are going for the investment of the tools. Here it's 4 million. So cycle time is also very high as far, when actually the plastic SMC is concerned actually, right? So which particular molding compound process you will choose from? ഇതാണ് ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ choose ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് Y site. So this is also $1 million question actually. Down the lane, maybe like after 3 or 4 years, now actually suddenly your machine it got corrupted, right? So the question is whether you are going to replace the entire machine or else whether you are going to repair it, or whether you are going to hire an engineer to fix the particular problem. This is the question actually. So അങ്ങനെ പ്രോബ്ലം നമ്മൾ ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഡൗൺ ദ ലൈൻ അഗെയിൻ തിരിച്ച് അങ്ങനെ സെയിം പ്രോബ്ലം റിപ്പീറ്റ് ആയാൽ അഗെയിൻ ആൻഡ് അഗെയിൻ യു മേ ബി ഫോഴ്സ്ഡ് ടു call the engineer, and of course the fixing cost will be increasing high. So you have to carefully understand between the nuances of this game, and you have to choose which particular thing is best for you, and which particular, whether you have to invest it on the old, whether you have to invest on a new machine, or else whether it is okay for you to survive with the old one by using an engineer. So this thing already I have explained. So ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ഒരു 50,000 products ആണ്, 50,000 units ആണ് നിങ്ങൾ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. Imagine a situation like suddenly maybe because of flood or maybe because of an unexpected situation, the demand gets increased actually. So how we are going to deal with it? നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് ദിവസം മുന്നേ കോവിഡ് വന്നപ്പോൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഈ സാനിറ്റൈസറും മറ്റേ മാസ്കിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യം വന്നായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു കമ്പനി they could not able to produce, right? At least for 1 month we struggled, right? Like at least for 1 month we could not able to identify the proper, we could not have the proper inflow of the sanitizer as well as the mask actually. So that is a classical example of this one. So, and one more thing is whether it is worth to spend money in the market for a new product. ഒരു പുതിയ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് പെട്ടെന്ന് ലോഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ നല്ലൊരു ചാൻസ് ഉള്ള ആ ഒരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് നമുക്ക് വേണം. കോസ്റ്റ് റിഡക്ഷൻ. So how you are planning to reduce the cost, whether to invest some amount of money or to automatize some of your process so that you can save the money later, or else you are happy with the manual procedure, right? So these are the questions that may arise naturally. So it's almost over. So what we have discussed so far is this one. The basic question is a nearby dollar or a distant dollar. Which one will you choose? Okay, ഇപ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്ന പൈസ ആണോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ച് താമസിച്ച് കിട്ടിയ like down the lane. So which one will you choose? So principle number 1 is a nearby dollar is worth more than a distant dollar. Okay, so here principle 2, all it counts is the differences among the alternatives. As I have mentioned earlier, we will be having alternative strategies in front of us, and alternative strategies means alternative costs ആണല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ alternative decisions implement ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ alternative പ്ലാനും alternative കോസ്റ്റും ഉറപ്പായിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്ക്. ലൈക്ക് നമ്മൾ ഓപ്ഷൻ രണ്ട് ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ, either to buy something or else to lease something. അപ്പോൾ buy, in case if you are preferring, this is problem, I mean this is plan 1, this is plan 2. If you are buying, the monthly cost is dollar, I mean you can make a comparison. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് രണ്ട് ഈ ഇതുണ്ടല്ലോ, ഫസ്റ്റ് രണ്ട് കോളത്തിൽ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് നമുക്കൊന്നും കിട്ടില്ല, ബിക്കോസ് ആൾമോസ്റ്റ് സിമിലർ ആണ് അല്ലേ, ദിസ് ആൾമോസ്റ്റ് സിമിലർ ആണ്. സോ യൂസിങ് ദിസ് വൺ വി കനോട്ട് മേക്ക് എ ഡിസിഷൻ ആക്ച്വലി. സോ ലെറ്റ് us go for the third and fourth and fifth columns. This is a cash outlaying at the signing. There is a huge difference for the buying as well as a leasing option. It's a, I mean we can have a fair amount of judgment here itself. പിന്നെ മന്ത്ലി പേയ്മെൻറ്റ് ഇത് കുറച്ച് കൂടുതലാണ്, ഇത് കുറച്ച് കുറവാണ്. സാൽവേജ് വാല്യൂ അറ്റ് ദ എൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദ 3 ഇയർ, ലൈക്ക് ടോട്ടലായിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സാൽവേജ് വാല്യൂ മീൻസ് I hope you know that actually depreciation value, salvage value means a depreciation value after a cycle, after the full cycle. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മളുടെ സൈക്കിൾ 3 years എന്ന് വെച്ചോ, ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ depreciation value or also salvage value at the end of the year is still $9,000 actually. Here this is 0. So which one you will be using for making the decisions? Okay, so first two column it's not relevant for making a decision, so we went for the third, fourth, fifth column, and here we have a clear advantage actually. $9,000 salvage values here, depreciation values here, and here it is a 0 value. So which one will you choose? Okay, so principle 3 is the marginal revenue must exceed marginal cost. So here the marginal cost means like ഇത് നമുക്ക് ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത്, what is marginal cost, what is marginal revenue, and as mentioned here, marginal revenue should be bigger than marginal cost. But what is marginal cost? Okay, the cost added by producing one additional unit. Your additional unit നമ്മൾ produce ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ what is the amount of the cost that I may be facing to produce this one? Okay, so the marginal revenue hence should be bigger than the amount of the the money which I have spent for producing this particular one unit. So this is the principle number 3. So these 3 principles are the basic ones that will guide you in making wise decisions while you are dealing with some manufacturing problems, or else manufacturing is a dilemma, right? Thank you very much.